fine. I just wanted to.
My name is Paul Swearingen. I'm a pastor and an author and a host of a podcast called The Nonpartisan Evangelical. And I'm here to talk about letting our faith cause us to wake up. And I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I said, I think I'm pretty woke now. And he said, no, woke is a destination. Life is about being in wakefulness. And Romans 12:2 tells us we should constantly be having our minds renewed so that we can know what the will of God is for a particular season. And I want to tell you a story as a part of this to emphasize what I'm talking about. I like to write what I call modern day parables. I take the Bible and put them into modern parlance. And this one is called the parable of the really, really good Christian. Okay, can I tell you that? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we
Be
go.
awake. Be woke, or be in wakefulness right now. So a woman contacted Jesus on social media. And if you saw her profile picture, she was in her Sunday best with her grandchildren, and she says to Jesus, my Lord and Savior, what must I do to be a really good Christian in this evil world of today? And the response from Jesus came quickly because he was posting pictures from a neighborhood event he had been at that day. And he answers back and says, why do you call me Lord and Savior? And she says, last name I used for, he says, I said this in prayer as a little girl. When Jesus read this, his heart went out to her. He just loved this sweet woman. And so he typed, he said, in this evil world, what you do to be a really good Christian is this. A really good Christian must adamantly oppose abortion and vote pro-life, even if the candidate you vote for is unqualified for the job. You must share social media posts in support of laws banning gay marriage. You must keep your children and grandchildren from watching secular media. A really good Christian must be a strict constitutionalist, fervently support the Second Amendment, and oppose all taxes, hatred of illegal immigrants and free-loading welfare recipients, and stand always at attention for the national anthem. And if you have an American flag pin to put on your lapel, all the better to display your allegiance to me as an American. Jesus hit the share button and waited her response, and at her kitchen desk, the woman smiled at what she was reading, and she answers back in excitement, all of these things I have done all of my life, Jesus. And then Jesus answers back and says, so here's a couple more things I would like for you to do. Go to the local abortion provider office and stop the young woman from having an abortion by promising to pay her expenses and child care and her education.
Yeah.
After that, go to a local farm and work the fields with the field workers there, learn their stories, and then go to a local African-American church and accompany a black mother who's visiting her son who's wrongly held in prison with no chance for parole. Next, meet a married gay couple in your area and love them as you would love your own family. And finally, visit a local elected official's office of the other party and take a selfie with them and post it on your Facebook. Tell them you'll be praying for them every day for their success and well-being as is commanded in the New Testament. There's a blink on Jesus' screen as he waited for her response to come, and after a few minutes of hearing nothing, he decided he would send her a private message to make sure that she was okay. Jesus was surprised to find that she had unfriended him and blocked him. Jesus typed in a new post and said, how difficult it is for Christians today to live the life I displayed in the Gospels. The funny thing about this story, if you recognize it, it's sort of my version of the rich young ruler story. But the amazing thing about it is this is my story. I grew up in a very conservative, evangelical, Republican household where we believed that Ronald Reagan and God were neck and neck as the greatest man that ever existed in the universe. And Reagan was slightly going ahead. Then a couple of things happened to me. One, God said, stop listening to Rush Limbaugh. And then I started reading the Bible. And that was a dangerous thing. And I saw a Jesus that wasn't after political power, but who disrupted the power structures. He didn't go after the nationalistic, power-broking religious people, but he actually said, hey, let's go sit with the people that you don't think worthy of God's love. And as I began to see that Jesus and realize that he said, beware the leaven of those religious good people who don't like those others, it started changing who I was inside. So I just want to encourage everybody today with this idea that I believe growing up that God was a Republican and he required me to be one, but I tell you today, God is not a Republican. He's not a Democrat either. The Bible says God is neither Jew nor Greek, that I don't think he's into politics at all, but good government on which justice rests his shoulders, and he's way into that. So I think need us to know that God's not Republican or Democrat, but he loves Republicans, and he loves Democrats and Libertarians and Green Partiers and all the others, and he has the solutions to what is we want to see changed in our culture. So I would say today, I'm going to have my faith take me away from what has been my staunch belief of the past into wanting to vote the common good. Thank you, Dr.
I really realized I'm an immigrant when I was at the university and I was driving with somebody in a car and they were listening to Rush Limbaugh on the car, and I started laughing because I thought it was a satire. Like, it's a clown talking, you know? Because he was talking about my country, he didn't have a clue what he was talking about, right? I realized I was an immigrant then, and we as immigrants, I learned, are here to take the jobs. I'm here to take the land. I'm here to take your cattle. I'm here to make your accountant communist. I'm going to take a brick. You allow me. That's gay. So, as an immigrant here, when you come, you don't know where you made it. Like, when do you belong finally? And I realized I finally belong after I got citizenship and all that. That was not enough. My daughter, a couple of months ago, got arrested, lying down in front of the bull on Wall Street protesting about what's going on with the environment. And I'm like, yes, it's all right. I'm repairing everything right with the world. So, immigrants. We are all immigrants. We are all displaced. We are all lost. My daughter was born here and displaced. We don't know what's going on. It's so fast. Us and people without the political party, without the convictions, we are all find ourselves in we don't know who we're going to become. So I think instead of being heroes who always need villains and victims, in order to win over things, we need to find an enemy, and we need to crush people, and we need to do all of these things. But how about if you look forward and say, we are entering something we don't understand, and we don't know. My daughter, I one day asked her, I said, I don't know how to become a teenager. And to be adults, you think, how about we help each other as we move there, and I promise I'll help you and you help me. That changed everything. So I want to invite you to own this primal American identity. It's not John Wayne, it's not Army, it's not like, I don't know, American sports are so violent, it's crazy. So it all comes from this idea that somebody needs to be crushed. Yeah. Right? Somebody needs to lose, somebody needs to pay. Somebody needs to be blown out of water. So, as an immigrant, what happens is that learning is more important than winning. Learning is more important. And we are all learning. Our hearts are learning. Our minds are learning. We are learning to relate. We're learning to wait. We're learning to suffer. We're learning to be patient. We're learning how it feels to receive justice, because some of us didn't know that before. Now we are learning how does that feel. And the last thing I want to say about immigrants is they sing all night long. They party, they sing, they dance, and this is what we do. This is what we do. Immigrants have future. Immigrants work hard. They cut up. They forgive and are forgiven. They celebrate love. They like life, and they know and they believe in the future. And this is why we win, because we love life. That's why.
How you doing? You all fired up? Oh yeah. Well, my name's Patrick Carolyn. I'm a Catholic. I'm part of the Franciscan family. I've been told I led an interesting life. 15 years ago, my life was very different. I was living the American dream. I worked for corporate America. I had a wonderful wife who I was madly in love with. I still am madly in love with her. I had 4 awesome children. We lived in a nice house in suburbia. We were active and engaged in our church. We worked in the food pantry. We worked in the soup kitchen. We attended Mass on Sundays. Stella and I were foster parents and adopted 2 children. We were very comfortable, and we checked off all the boxes. I was absolutely certain my faith was solid. I knew that if something happened to me, I was on a fast track to heaven. There was no stopping in purgatory for me. Then I had this crisis of faith. It wasn't some dramatic event. There was no burning bush or anything like that. It's just a simple statement that my pastor, Father Tom, said at the end of Mass one Sunday. He got up and he said, "I hope I've made you feel uncomfortable." Kind of an interesting thing for a pastor to say. He went on to say that we don't ever transform out of our comfort zone. So I thought about that statement, that simple statement. It challenged me to rethink my entire theology and philosophy. I was comfortable feeding the hungry without questioning and working to change the systems that allow 1 child every 10 seconds to die from starvation. I was fine caring for the poor without challenging a system that allowed 1.3 billion children to live in extreme poverty. I knew that I had to do more, so I became an activist. A few weeks ago, I was the executive director of the Franciscan Action Network. I left that a few weeks ago. I was also the co-founder of the Global Catholic Climate Movement. I was living in Washington, D.C., meeting with senators and members of Congress, organizing and participating in marching and racism, participating in hunger fasts, protesting the separation of children from their families. And occasionally, I put my body out there by getting arrested for nonviolent civil disobedience. I was even honored in 2015 by the White House as a champion of change. As a Catholic leader, I promoted a consistent ethics of life. People would often ask me, why do you do all that? Why? Why do you put yourself out there? Well, I told you I have 4 children. I do it with my 4 children. I do it for your children. I do it for my nieces and nephews. I do it for my siblings. There's a great poem written by Drew Dillon, I think written about 50 years ago. It's called What Did You Do Once You Knew? Let me read It's 3:23 in the morning, and I am awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren ask me in dreams, "What did you do while the planet was plundered? What did you do when the earth was unraveling? Surely you did something when the season started failing, as the mammals and reptiles and birds were all dying. Did you fill the street with protests when democracy was stolen? What did you do once you knew?" I'm the son of Irish immigrants. My parents came to America in 1950. My mother grew up a Catholic in Belfast, Ireland. When they came to America, they had nothing. My mother would often say they got off the boat with one baby in her arms, another in her belly, and not 2 nickels to rub together. She actually used a different expression. It's an Irish expression. Like, we're in a plank company here. But what she did have was she had this incredible faith and a sense of justice. I remember being at a gathering, a large Irish Catholic gathering, and some of the neighbors, from a Irish Catholic neighborhood, and some of the people were complaining because those people were moving in. And my mother turned to one such person and said, "Did you forget where you came from? Did you forget that in Belfast, we were those people? We were the blacks in Belfast?" She went on to say, "I didn't come to this country so I could treat people the way I was treated when I grew up." In 1840, U.S. Catholic bishops wrote a letter. While it condemned the slave trade, it supported the institution of slavery. One such bishop, Calhoun, went so far in his letter to the Secretary of State to say that not doing away with slavery was a violation of religious freedom. At the same time this was happening, a number of Catholic churches and leaders joined with their evangelical, Quaker, and Protestant sisters and brothers in offering sanctuary as part of the Underground Railroad. These Catholics were not blindly obedient to their bishops. In 1928, Adolf Hitler said, "We tolerate no one in our ranks who attacks the idea of Christianity. In fact, our movement is a Christian movement." A few years later, a group of young students, Catholics, Lutherans, and evangelicals, formed the nonviolent resistance movement, the White Rose Society. One of the founders, Tony Sproul, actually led her death, said, "What does my death matter? If through us, thousands of people are awakened and stirred to action." A couple weeks ago, I left my glorious position in Washington, D.C., and came to join both common to good. I did so because 2020 is the year that we will decide who we really are as a nation and as Christians. We have sat by and allowed our faith, our Christian belief, to be hijacked. We sat in our place of comfort and allowed people teaching a gospel of hatred and fear, a gospel of racism, sexism, Islamophobia, homophobia, to define what our faith is. And when I think about this, I get very, very angry. But like Jesus, my anger is a righteous anger. But anger left unchecked can turn easily into hatred and fear. So we have to take that righteous anger and turn it into prayerful action. The 13th century Franciscan theologian, St. Bonaventure, described the created universe as the fountain fullness of God's expressed being. Just as God is expressed in creation, creation in turn expresses the Creator. I wonder, what kind of Creator are we expressing today? In 2020, we have to answer the question, both as a nation and a people of faith, whether we really do worship the God or money, whether we welcome the stranger or build a wall. I know I want to be able to tell my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren that I stood on the side of faith and justice. So we're asking you today to come and join us in this new movement of faith. We have to wake from the space of comfort and have the faith to speak up for the poor, the marginalized, those without a voice, and the faith that together we can people stand up for justice. Thank you. Please
walk by faith and not walk by sight. Then all I hear to see at night. Sometimes tears they don't stop. I wonder will we just dry up, blow away like the sand, all alone in this dry land. Wilderness, we cry out. Is there anybody there? Is anybody listening? Yeah, does anybody care? All around, all we see is pain, and we feel it now, deep within. We pray, make her like heaven, but when will that begin? Heaven, it seems so far, so far beyond our grasp. How long must we suffer here? How long will this all last? Please don't give up, 'cause we need you now. We need you now. Please don't give up, 'cause we need you now. We need you now. Sing with us. Please don't give up, 'cause we need you now. We need you now. Let me hear you. Come on. Please don't give up now, 'cause we need you now. We need you now. Your neighbor sing it. Please don't give up. The Bible sing it. 'Cause we need you now. We need you now. Find somebody else to sing it to them. Please don't give up, 'cause we need you now. We need you now. Also, in the phone section. even sing the song with you. Yeah. We got to do this together. Amen?
Amen.
There are four things that get us around this country. You already know three of them. Faith, hope, love. Diesel is the fourth one that gets us around this country. And we're really serious about it. It takes a lot to move that big bus. And there's a lot of reasons why we want to travel this whole country. Because we realize that there's people in this country who need to be included. And they feel left out. And if you don't believe that people feel left out, travel the country with us. And I promise you, you're going to meet people who feel left out.
Oh, yeah.
We're not traveling the country trying to elect Christian candidates. Hope you pick that up tonight. We're trying to get people who claim faith to vote for common good candidates. We want to see common good candidates across the board and across the country. And we want people of faith to not hold in their own privilege, to do nothing out of their own pocketbook, but to do what's best for everybody else. So that's why we're traveling the country. And we need you to go with us. There's a table in the back. And we want to invite you to help with diesel in our bus, to help with food in our bellies, and to help us travel around the country. We're going to go to every state. Because almost no other campaign, almost no other tour that I know of goes to every state. Because it's part of our story that we want to make sure everybody feels included as best as we can. And frankly, most people don't organize themselves by the state they live in or the street they live on. They organize themselves in lots of other ways. The teams they root for, or the beliefs they hold, or the places where they work, or where their family lives. Some of you have loved ones in other states you care as much about them as you do yourself. You don't feel yourself only to be somebody from Fresno or the Fresno area or even California or even the United States. So you feel like you're connected to this whole community. And that's part of the reason we're traveling. So we want you to help us travel, whether you can come with us or not. There's a table in the back, and we want you to take anything on that table. You can have a sweatshirt, you can take a mug, you can take one of these fancy stickers, you can take a hat, and I'll give you this one if you want it. You can do anything you want at that table and take it with you. If you want to give us a contribution, we would love that. It's going to sound like an NPR fund drive right now, but those are contributions back there. And we would love for you to help fund us. Now, some people are getting numbers. They like to help us. It costs us about $6,000 a day to do all this. To get this bus around and get all of us around and do these events and make all this stuff happen. So other people paid enough money for us to get here, and we're asking for some of you to chip in to help us to get to LA, and then get to Phoenix, and then get to Las Cruces, and then get to Dallas and Fayetteville, and to all the other places that we're going to go in this country. Now some of you are saying, $6,000? I don't have $6,000. I don't have $6. Well, if you've got 60 cents or $6 or $60, I'll tell you, some people do have $6,000. I know it. People have given us $6,000. I know it happens. So if you want to give us $6,000 or $60,000 or $600,000, we would love to include you in what we're doing. So please know that it really matters. People often ask two questions. I promise you I heard both of them today in this building. I was here for church this morning and I heard both of these questions. Question number one, do you really have hope? Do you really think that people of conscience and faith are going to step up and do the right things like the Congressional Senate President? I am a born optimist. So, I just think, yeah, it's going to work out. I mean, I woke up on election day 2016 with a smile on my face and I was feeling great. So I'm probably not the best person to trust when it comes to hope. I get from all that. But I do have hope. And we're traveling this country because we do have hope. The second question goes with it is, don't you feel like you're preaching to the choir when you do these events? And you know what people are getting at. Aren't you only talking to people who are already buying what you're selling? And I'll tell you what, I've been a pastor for 30 years, and I've been in a lot of churches, and I know a lot of choirs. And I know a lot of choir members. And the choir could use a little preaching everywhere in the country. And there's a choir of conscience and goodwill around this country that feels like a choir that has lost its song. It feels like a choir that has lost its tune. And it feels like a choir because we think there's choir bill. We think there's people who want to sing a new song in this country, and if everybody just puts their hands in their pockets and shuffles their feet, we're not going to get this choir tuned in. So yeah, I hope we're preaching to the choir. I hope that people who feel like they want to raise their voice, they have woken up and they want to speak up and they want to stand up, and on November 3rd, we are going to unleash a new song in this country as a new choir. So we hope that's happening. So we want to invite you. There are a lot of ways that you participate in democracy. You vote, you get up, you do activism, you encourage people, and some get themselves involved directly in politics because they say, I will stand up and ask you to vote for me. I don't know if you know who Nickolas Wildstar is, but he's here and he's running for mayor of Fresno, and he's right back there. So we'll just take a note of him. Yeah, he's just here. But if you know he's here, he wants to talk to you, he wants to talk to you about running. Thank you for running. You might notice that in the back there's Josh Cobb. Josh has a sheet that he wants you to fill out, so he's going to stand up. He's asking you to get involved in politics here because schools now has to redistribute money that goes to schools, so thank you for your work, and that really matters. And then some people say, not only do I want to represent a city, or not only do I want to represent a cause, but I want to represent a whole people in the federal government. And that's really close to my heart. It means a lot to me. I think it's a really courageous thing for anyone to say, I want the common good to be my standard, and I'm going to work hard to make that happen at the federal level. Now, I happen to believe, and I don't want to come into somebody else's town and talk bad about your representatives. I've got representatives of my own that I'm a big fan of. I come from Minneapolis. But I'll just tell you that your particular congressional candidate, here's something that I hope that is I shall go off to someone else. Well, Phil is here because Phil has said, I want to take that seat. I want to replace Ed Newton. I want to be the next representative from this congressional district. And we want to give you a chance to do a program here on this side so you can run in further.
Thanks, thank you very much. What an evening, huh? That's awesome. Okay, so usually I have a little speech going for these kind of things, but this seems a little bit more informal, so I kind of want to just let everybody know who I am, and why I'm running for Congress against Republican Devin Nunes in the 22nd Congressional District. I'm usually when I'm up on stage, I usually have like a guitar or like doing something. I'm a musician by trade, so for me it's really weird without like a guitar or a stand or anything like that, so I don't know what to do with my hands. But anyhow, so my name is Phil Arbaio, and I am the Democrat running for Congress against Devin Nunes in the 22nd Congressional District. This has been hardworking, single, woman. I am also the grandson of hardworking in this country from Mexico to provide a better life for their family as well. My father was unfortunately, he had some substance abuse issues, and when I was 14 years old, he passed away of alcoholism. And that was, I believe, my grandmother who was deeply in her faith. We grew up and I was baptized as a Catholic. But the death of my father, I think, was the first time I learned about being tolerant, being patient, especially with those kinds of issues, because it just, as a 14-year-old, it gives you a completely different perspective on life, and I found myself alone a lot. I was always by myself. I was what they call a latchkey kid, right? Grew up all by myself. My mom was a hardworking parent, and she usually drug my sister around with her because my sister is a lot younger than I am. But I was, after I became the first of my family to graduate college here from Fresno State, I had worked my way through that. Nothing was ever handed to me. While I was growing up, I had to work full time to do that, to get that done. The first time I would go, but to graduate college, I worked a little bit here in the Valley, and then I went to work, and then I moved a little bit for a time to Southern California, where I met my wife, Cynthia, who's unfortunately not here this evening, and we had our son, my son Andres. And I don't know what to say. I don't know how much I can say in this short amount of time about my wife, but my wife is the one that, she is a very, very wonderful woman, and she is really into her faith. I think that's one of the things that attracted me to her, was her faith in her belief, and also her culture. Also the grandson or the granddaughter of immigrants as well. I've always had faith. I've always been a part of it, but meeting Cynthia, she kind of rounded that whole thing out, and we do a lot of reflecting every night before we all go to bed and put the kids to bed. After that, we do a lot of reflecting, and recently we have ended each evening with prayer. And before I leave today, I'd like to share with you one of those prayers that we kind of adopted for this campaign, because it's important to us. And the reason that I am running for Congress is because I love my family, I love my children, and I'm proud to be from this valley. And unfortunately, as I grew up here, and when I left and came back with my own family, I noticed not a lot of change in the Central Valley, especially for those who need it. And there's a lot of underlying factors, those in power, including and most especially our current representative, Devin Nunes. And just like Doug, on whatever the day was in November of 2016, the next morning was a little bit of a call to action to me. I've always been involved wherever I lived, whether that was in the Central Valley or in trying to give back. I sell 2 days already in the city of Fresno. I'm a small business owner, and I'm a board member with our Central California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But after that election, I knew that at that time I still had my son. We hadn't had our daughter yet. I have a 1-year-old at this point. But I knew I had to get more involved, and things had to change. Because I got a perspective when I lived somewhere else that Fresno was just not living up to its potential, and I wanted to make sure that we had the leaders in place to make that happen. So I decided to get more involved and be involved in the 18th election. My wife and I, we knew we wanted to do something in 2020 and be a part of this community. And everything in my entire life that has led me to this point, I didn't know that I would ever be up here saying that I am a member of, or I am a professional candidate. And hopefully one day I will be up here to say that I'm a member of I'm just asking you to believe in me, to believe in my campaign against Devin Nunes, because we almost did this in 2018. We were so close to getting rid of him. And we can do it in 2020. We have a lot of enthusiasm going into it. We are narrowing those registration gaps. We are making that happen. I firmly believe that I can race ever to take him out in 2020. He is just unfortunately not representative of who we are in the Central Valley anymore. At one time, maybe, but we're way past that. We are an area of immigrants. We are a district who values their hard work, and we are a very, very strong faith-based area as well. And it's important for someone to have that tolerance and the patience for everyone in life who comes from all walks of life. And I believe I have that perspective. So before I end again, I would like to just share with you the prayer that my wife and I have adopted for this campaign. Just bear with me. It's not very long, but I'd like to share it with you anyway. She says, Lord, we pray for the power to be gentle, the strength to be forgiving, the patience to be understanding, and the endurance to accept the consequences according to what we believe to be right. May we put our trust in the power of good to overcome evil and the power of love to overcome hatred. We pray for the vision to see and the faith to believe in a world emancipated from violence, a new world where there shall no longer be men to commit injustice, nor selfishness make them bring suffering to others. Help us to devote our whole life and thought and energy to the task of making peace, praying always for the inspiration and the power to fulfill the destiny for which we and all men were created. So amen. Thank you very much.
One of the great things we get to do is travel around every city we go to. We meet these people who are offering themselves to be a candidate. And Kim Williams is here. She's going to come up and tell us a little bit about this too. She's also running for Congress. I mean, how great is it that you get to meet people running for Congress? Do you know that you just keep coming up? I'm just going to talk to you here. That there's 535 people that represent those around the United States in Congress. 535. And every once in a while, the candidate just says, hey, time's up, and it's time for someone else. So, Kim, thanks for running. Thanks for being here. Give us a couple of
Thank you. I really just wanted to praise you guys. I had the chance to first meet you in LA, and I was just so inspired by everything you're doing. And part of the reason for that is I grew up in Georgia, and so the civil rights in a lot of ways really shaped me. And of course, I thought about it a lot this weekend because we are celebrating Martin Luther King. And a lot of people this weekend were talking about his accuracy. But clearly, it's because those words before changed the world. But I tend to frequently think about his letter from a Birmingham jail. How many people have read this really, really beautiful, powerful letter? And I think those words probably resonated with me more than anything I ever read in my entire life. I mean, it resonated so strongly in the South, where I grew up, and how I would watch adults that spoke to or lived exactly what he was describing. That these people who proclaimed to be these good people would say these really offensive things, and then I would watch other adults around them who were just quiet, that were completely mute. And the impression I was starting to get as a child, it was almost worse to make the offensive person feel uncomfortable than to actually stand up and say something. And this is why I love you guys so much, because I think you're helping people navigate that space. And as I became an adult, I understood the very, very serious consequences of not engaging in those conversations. That the cumulative effect of so many people standing by and being silent when something terrible is being spoken hurts people. It hurts people in a very profound way. And then I kind of struggled with, well, now I understand how serious this is. Now I understand how important this is. But I had no map, I had no guide, no one had ever modeled this behavior, told me how to navigate this space. And as I started trying to jump in there and figure things out on my own, I did it badly. I didn't handle it always the best way, but for me, what I finally figured out was that it was just so important to show up and say something, to say anything, even if your words don't come out perfectly, that we all have to stand up and say something. And then there was just one other point that I wanted to make, because as I grew up and I left Georgia 7 years, and then I became the diplomat under the Obama administration. I was a diplomat through all 8 years, and then the first 6 months under the Trump administration. And the bureau that I worked for was the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. It was the Exchange Bureau. And we managed thousands of exchanges with people all over the world, and we've been doing this for decades. And so when Trump first took office, one of the very first things he did was try to wipe out our bureau. And so we submitted a state budget put a zero next to us, completely eliminated us, so the bureau of all exchanges. And so there was a great deal of panic, of course, in our bureau. Not only did we all leave these programs, but this was 665 people who worked in this bureau who did not want to lose their job, who were care about what they were doing. And it was in budget to Congress. It was not only killed, they actually increased the budget. And the reason why they did this is because one of the most important things the State Department does is not the high-level meetings, it's not the negotiations, it's not the big presidential speeches, it's the conversations. It's the conversations between one person and another person, because when we move people, we move ideas, we foster understanding, and through doing that, we literally have the ability to change the world. So these are the things that shape me. The reason I am running in 16th District is because I feel like there's a story that's not being told here. We have some of the worst poverty in the United States, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it, and if you're not talking about it, you're not doing anything about it. And so I am running an anti-poverty platform. I'm running on a progressive economic platform that will hopefully get right to the heart of the problems that we face here. I encourage you to please look at my website at KimWilliamsForCongress.com and hopefully learn a little bit about me, and happy to talk to any of you. But thank you all for being here.
faith. I'm an executive pastor at a church in Stockton, California, but I'm also the executive director for an organization called Faith in the Valley. Faith in the Valley. Faith in the Valley is an organization that goes from Kern County all the way to San Joaquin County. We're multicultural, we're multi-faith, and our primary job is to do for others what I wished someone had done for me many years before I started doing this work. So being a pastor, a woman of faith, loving on the people of God, I'm excited about this particular tour because I represent what a lot of people believe that people of faith in church, they just don't want to get involved. I spent 40 years in church, having faith, doing all the amazing things that church people do, feed the hungry, feed the sick, feed the poor, provide the coats, the boots, the shoes I needed. And someone loved me enough to challenge us at our church one time to say, but how are you putting your faith into action? You mean beyond the clothes, beyond the shoes, beyond the, yeah, but why is all of that changing policy? I feel like that's something that we didn't necessarily need to do. That's surely something politicians should do, not us. And we didn't have the spiel that says we are not political. That wasn't us. We just weren't political. We didn't say it, we just weren't. And someone loved us enough to be able to sit down. We ran into the PICO organization. I didn't know much about bringing about change, and we voted for sure, and we bought into I learned the word later called dominant narrative that said everyone in jail should be in jail, right? And we kind of believed that. And if you needed to just follow the rules, follow the laws, and everything would be okay. And then once coming to Faith in the Valley, once coming to PICO, I learned that everything wasn't quite as it seemed. There are people in jail that shouldn't be there. There are people that we're keeping out of the country that shouldn't be kept out. There are laws that aren't fair, they aren't just, and they aren't applied the same for all the people. And I was surprised because I spent a long time believing that things would work out the best for everyone. So now we spend a lot of time trying to just educate around policy change and letting people use their voice. And for sure, those that are closest to the pain are the ones that should be bringing about change. But I also learned that there's this huge segment of people in the middle that may not necessarily be impacted by the pain, but they're also not involved because they're not impacted by the pain. Yeah, and so what we're doing now is to go out and we're trying to educate a whole lot of people, talking about if indeed you're a person of faith, your faith actually calls you to action, to be the voice for those that have not yet found their voice. And so we're having a ball doing that right now in the Central Valley, getting people involved, letting people know that your voice matters, your pen matters, and the people in office absolutely should represent you at all costs. Yes. And so the song that I'm going to sing today is called Faith, and it talks about, it's like, do we believe in changing? I believe God for change. I believe God for change in my family. I believe God for change in the Central Valley, and I believe God for change in this nation. And it requires faith with action. So we are going to take action. We are going to ensure that people get to the polls. We are going to ensure that people are educated about those that are running for office and checking their records to make sure that they're doing what they say they'll do. And we're going to have faith. Faith that absolutely will bring about change. Hit B flat for me. I have the faith to see the invisible, expect the impossible, receive a miracle. Faith
tonight, I just want to encourage you to go to voteCommonGood.com for a couple of reasons. One, a chance to see where we're going to be and join us there. There's also a donation link there. But also because there's 2 pledges you can take. One of those is what we call the I will go first commitment. The I will go first commitment is a commitment that we ask people all over the country to make. When they say, I'll be the first one in my family, the first one in my faith community, the first one on my Facebook feed, the first one in my friendship group, to say something when I need to. Or maybe it's about what you think about a particular policy, or about what you think about the state of affairs in this country. So in conscience, feel like they're just waiting for someone else to step out. So we're putting together lists of thousands of people all over the country. It's a real gift sometimes to let others go first, and sometimes it's a real gift to step out and be a leader. So the I'll go first pledges on there. You get to have a chance to make a video, and to make your own video, and then to put it together with thousands of other videos of people saying, I'll step up and I will go first. It's amazing what it does for a person to see others step out. It causes you to do the same thing. We encourage you to be somebody who will go first. The second pledge is what we're going to take right now, if you're willing to, and that's what we call the Love in Politics Pledge. The Love in Politics Pledge, you might have gotten the sheet when you came in. It's written on the page here. It's a pledge that asks for voters to make a commitment to hold all elected officials to a standard of love in how they comport themselves in their public and professional lives. We don't think it's too much to ask people who want to represent others in this country to act in their own lives in a way that is consistent with love. Secondly, it says, I will support elected officials who do so, regardless of party we would like to add. Anyone who steps up and acts in a way that is consistent with love, you can say, I'm with you. I may not agree with your policies, but thank you for being someone who leads in the way of love. Third, I will stand up to and call for a change from elected leaders who violate the virtues of love.
Right.
That people will not stay silent any longer.
Thank
and
you.
fourthly, that you will call on all elected officials to demand other public officials comport themselves in ways consistent with love. No more giving politicians a pass by saying, well, I wouldn't say it that way. Right. Well, I don't agree with all the tweets. No, that you would, as an elected official, speak up to your partners in service in this country and say, we find that to be inappropriate. And then there's this definition of love. Now, you may have your own definition of love, and you don't need this one. This one comes from the book of 1 Corinthians, and if you have your own, feel free to hold your own commitment for the standard of love as you see it. But I'm going to invite you as one of our final acts tonight to stand up and to say this commitment with me if you're willing to. Calling politicians to a way of love, we think, should include the fact that, and I'll say the part that is, I'll say the first part and you'll say the film part, you'll get it. We think it's important for people to hold their elected officials to a love where love is
patient,
where love is
kind,
where love does not
envy,
love does not
boast,
love is not
proud,
love does not
dishonor others,
love is not
self-seeking,
love is not
easily angered,
love keeps no
record of wrongs,
love does not
delight in evil,
love
rejoices with the truth,
love always
protects,
love always
trusts,
love always
hopes,
love always
perseveres.
May we be people who call for love in our lives, in our families, in our relationships, and in our politics. Stay standing. This is our final song, and then we'll be glad to meet all of you. And stick around tonight as long as you want.
I can't clap for all you.
you guys. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We're out here, if you couldn't tell, with the Vote Common Good rally. Hi, how you doing? Nickolas Wildstar.
Nickolas Wildstar.
Yes.
I want to learn about you, Nickolas.
Please do indeed, if I may.
Yes,
There's
thank
my
you.
card, and please visit my website, find out more. Hopefully I can earn your vote.
Probably will.
All right, God bless you. All right, wonderful. Hey, we're already making friends here at this beautiful, wonderful, lovely place of God. It is United Church of Christ out here in Fresno. Always showing me love. The United Church of Christ in Fullerton. I visited there a few times, and now I'm here in Fresno at the United Church of Christ in Fresno, where again the Vote Common Good tour has made a stop right here. So I'm just here in town, saying hi and introducing myself, of course, as the next future mayor of the city. Yeah. So I don't want to be rude, y'all. I'm gonna go out here. I got some materials on the table. I'm trying to pack up and do a million things at once. That's why I need help. So if you're willing to volunteer, please visit my website, wildstar2020.com. That is wildstar2020.com. Please visit my website. Click on where it says volunteer under help support the candidate, because I need more volunteers. Need somebody holding the camera for me and helping me with these campaign materials. So I do appreciate your time. God bless you all. May the light of God and liberty shine on each and every one of you. Long live liberty, y'all. Peace.